On Dead Space, my goal was to scare the heck out of one person. I wanted to make the scariest game. You know, you have to go in and go, I want to make the scariest game ever, right? You don't go in and say, I want to make the third scariest. But I also wanted a game that was like exactly what I wanted to make.
Hey, I'm pretty proud of that intro. Dead Space needs no introduction. We all know what it is and how much of an impact it made in the horror genre. In today's video, I want to see if the claims hold any weight. Is Dead Space the scariest game ever made? Well, after spending the last month playing the game, I think those claims are not a stretch. Dead Space offers an unrelenting horror experience that is unparalleled to anything else, and there hasn't been a game quite like it since. Though that doesn't fully answer the question, is this the scariest game ever made? Join me in the worst shift in the history of gaming and let's see if the claims are true. As you can see, this is quite a long video again, so let's not waste any more time. So first, let me introduce you to the repair team. We have our stoic team leader, Security Chief Hammond, the computer geek specialist, Kendra. These two guys who are not important, so unimportant in fact, the developers forgot to give them eyes. Then we have the main star, Isaac Clarke, a ship systems engineer. Smart, handsome, and doesn't utter a word the entire game, but more on that later. I know there's an important video message here, but don't worry, we'll come back to this real soon. All 5 of them have been tasked with a repair mission. We have been sent into deep space to locate and repair this.
Everyone, we're here. Syncing our orbit now. There she is. We have visual contact.
The USG Ishimura, a planet-cracking and mining ship designed to traverse dead space to harvest minerals and other important materials. This hellish-looking planet they're floating over currently is Aegis 7. According to reports, it's a gold mine. So, why are we here exactly? Well, the USG has gone silent. The time frame is unknown, but there's been a communications outage and we're here to fix it. It should really be a simple mission. But something feels incredibly off. The ship is completely dark and no one is picking up the phone.
Never heard of a total communications blackout on one of these things. You'd think with 1,000 people on board someone would pick up the phone.
Even worse, asteroids are dangerously close to it, resulting in one colliding with us.
What the hell?
Sir, the auto dock.
What is it?
We're off track. We're gonna hit the hull.
Hit the blast shields. That guidance tether's damaged. Switch to manual, now.
Inside the magnetic field? Are you insane? Abort!
No! We can make it inside. Corporal, gave you an order.
The field's too strong.
Our only way off this place that we know of has been deleted.
You didn't lose power to the port booster. You lost the port booster.
We are about to have the worst shift in human history. One thing this game does incredibly well is immediately placing you into a state of fear. The amount of red flags are hard to ignore. First off, this ship is haunting. It's one of the most uninviting places floating above a planet I wouldn't like to call home. The ship is dead. No one is around and it looks like people tried to leave in a rush. And the worst red flag of them all is the fact there's 1,000 people on board and no one is responding to us. The silence is deafening.
What is that?
It's a busted array like we thought.
My sister in Christ, did you not hear those demonic noises coming through the transmission? weak signal my arse. The tone is immediately set. No time to breathe, no time to even comprehend the situation we're in, or even make a plan for what's about to happen next. This place is already getting to us, and it's justified.
Power's dead. I can't.
Then reroute the damn power! Look, if we all cooperate, we can figure this out a lot sooner. Let's get that computer display up, Isaac.
Whatever is happening here isn't normal, and on our way to check the ship's status, we discover a crime scene with no victim in sight. The situation just got cranked to 11. One cool detail you can hear is Isaac's heart rate increasing. Shame we can't warn the crew because Isaac is a mute protagonist. Sorry lads. We take a look at the damage report and find out several parts of the ship are severely damaged. This job just got a whole lot more complicated. Even worse, the security level is on high, and that's for a good reason.
Be flung again, that's a start.
What the hell was that?
Something is in here with us, and it's triggered a quarantine. Now brace yourselves. What you're about to see is one of, if not the greatest introductions in a game ever.
The hell?
I don't know. Something's in the room with us.
Jesus! Open fire! Open fire! Sender! Power! Sender!
Come on. Got it!
Isaac! Get the hell out of there!
Hammond's lackeys are immediately killed off, leading to him and Kendra making a break for it before they receive the same gruesome treatment, leaving us no other option but to head into the unknown by ourselves. It's pure chaos, the real definition of sensory overload. Whatever these things...
Run, Isaac! Get the hell out of there!
You don't need to tell me twice. When the game gives you a brief moment to breathe, it quickly reminds you nowhere is safe.
We wanted you to have moments of relaxation, but not too much.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the greatest intro to any horror game. Not even 4 minutes into it, it lays out many of the elements that make this game a masterpiece. It shows you exactly what to expect. Not a single dull moment, unmatched atmosphere, and unrelenting terror. We're now down in tram maintenance. The first thing we are greeted with is a dimly lit room and to the sounds of someone crying over the fact he missed out on the chance of getting the Isaac Clarke skin from the Fortnite shop. This quickly escalates to him banging on the door because something is approaching. With that haunting audio, we discover a message written in blood. A hot gamer tip left by this man before he perished. Cut off their limbs. The item beneath it explains exactly what this means. This is the only way to kill them, and what better tool for the job? A plasma cutter. A popular mining tool now repurposed for killing. With this, we can now face what's on the other side of this door. This disgusting demonic looking monster is a necromorph. Whatever it is or where it came from is unknown to us right now, but I think you can get a solid idea what it once was based on its appearance. There are many variants of them you will encounter throughout this game. This one in particular is known as the Slasher. Its elongated arms with blades on each end gives it its name. They are the most common necromorph you will find in this game and are basically treated as cannon fodder. Luckily for you, shooting off 2 of its limbs is more than enough to kill it. Complete pushovers when they're alone, but are deadly in groups. Not because they swarm, but the fact they can sneak up behind you while you're occupied. Dead Space has a fantastic lineup of monsters that all attack in unique ways, and I will be talking about each one when we encounter them.
Collect and use health packs to replenish your health bar.
This game has 0 HUD elements. Instead of having a generic UI pop up to provide information or context, it's done in a way not to only immerse you, but to keep you engaged at all times. Your health is displayed on your back, which by the way is fucking cool. Ammo count is physically on the gun, And the inventory system is a heads-up display attached to Isaac's suit, and I love the small detail of Isaac moving his head as you move through the UI. This also doesn't pause your game, so when you're in a pinch, opening the menu is a risk. You have access to a map that honestly sucks, and I don't think I really used it once. Like, who the fuck even designed this? Thank God Isaac's suit has a breadcrumbs feature for your objectives. It's a tracker that directs you with a blue line, and you have to try very hard to get lost. It's incredibly linear, which is perfectly fine for a game like this, but there are moments where it can get a little confusing. Dead Space has a very unique approach to UI, and it makes it feel realistic within the game's universe. Glen Schofield had 5 rules when creating this game. No HUD, character never talks, dismemberment, all moments are interactive, and innovate everything. I'll be going over each of these points throughout the video, and I've already touched on dismemberment. It's a clever twist on the usual shooter formula. Instead of aiming for the head for maximum damage, Dead Space forces you to think differently. Every encounter tests you, because each necromorph has different limb placements and comes in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Some are easier to take down than others, but the variety keeps the fight tense and unpredictable. And while we're on the subject, the necromorphs aren't just generic zombies or aliens. Well, they are, but we'll get to that. They're a grotesque fusion of flesh and bone, a disturbing embodiment of body horror that feels volatile and alive. John Carpenter's The Thing is a clear inspiration behind this. That film isn't the only piece of media that inspired Dead Space, and Glen Schofield is very open about this, but more on that later. Heading towards the tram line, we find Kendra and Hammond thankfully in one piece. All freaked out and no plan in motion.
More of them on the way over here. Are you okay?
More what? What the hell are those things? Is that the crew?
Keep your voice down. Whatever they are, they're not friendly, and half the doors on this ship are locked because of the quarantine.
Whatever attacked us is a mystery, but Kendra does ask a disturbing question. With not a single crew member in sight, and the fact necromorphs share a similar resemblance to humans, it's not a wild conclusion. In fact, it's the only thing that makes sense. There's 1,000 people on board the Ishimura, and I don't quite like those odds. Hammond believes we have a chance if we make it to the bridge, but in order to get there, we must repair the tram line. We are the only person who's even capable of doing such a task, but not only that, it's on our side of the ship. So if we want any chance of getting off this place, it's time to be brave.
This is Benson, Tram Engineering. We think we figured it out. Smith killed one. Listen, forget about shooting him in the body. You gotta cut off the limbs. Grab a cutter, anything like that. Cut him apart!
The story of Dead Space doesn't necessarily give you all the answers. Plotted throughout the entire game are data and audio logs that will give you important information and context. They're not vital to understand the main story of the game, but they're important to understand what the hell happened here. Some audio logs are more helpful than others of course, but most of them add so much to the creep factor of this game. They can be found just by playing normally or by doing some light exploring. This will also help you replenish some of your spent supplies and for finding these things. A power node. I'll talk about these things a bit later. Before we enter the tram maintenance though, we are halted by a faulty door. Luckily for us, this geezer left behind his stasis module. Originally designed for engineering repairs, but it can pretty much work on anything. It works by producing a temporary time dilation, greatly slowing anything down for a short period of time, which is perfect for getting past this death trap. This module is one of the most vital pieces of equipment in any Dead Space game, as it's required for a lot of the environmental puzzles but also for general survival. You can slow necromorphs down to a crawl with this thing, making those shots far easier to land or giving you a window to run away and save ammo. Some necromorphs pose a greater threat to you than others, so I suggest conserving some of your power for those encounters, because this thing does require stasis packs to be recharged. With that said, this module needs to be used if you want to move the broken tram off the track, because the bloody machine is also busted. By slowing the claws down, it will give you enough time to hit the button. Once the tram has been removed, we now need to find a replacement data board, which is what the fuck is that? This is the Leaper. In my opinion, one of the most terrifying looking necromorphs in the game. Its lower jaw has split into two, creating a set of mandibles. But even worse, both of its legs have fused together, turning into a tail with a blade at the end. It's lost the ability to run, but can still close the distance faster than any other necromorph in the game. It earns its name through how it behaves, because this motherfucker loves to leap around the gaff to attack you. The stasis module being right here sets up this encounter perfectly, basically telling you in a subtle way that this is the best method to deal with these lads. Deeper inside maintenance, you will find this large tram repair room. This is where you find the replacement boards after a nasty scrap with many necromorphs. It kind of plays out like a mini arena, and it's a good opportunity to put to use the tricks the game has taught you so far. With the board collected, we successfully fix the tramline for them, and they head off towards the bridge, leaving us alone again for another job. Thankfully, the quarantine has been lifted, which should make it easier to get around this place, but what Hammond says here is quite chilling.
Strange. The quarantine just lifted.
Whatever was in the flight lounge must have left. That's lucky for us.
Yeah, lucky for you maybe. I'm still out here all by myself, you bull cunt. We have no other choice but to head back to the shuttle. And there's this one moment that happens here that I completely forgot about, and it was this. What the hell? This game does a really fantastic job with constantly placing you on the verge of a panic attack. It will always try and make you second guess the things you may have seen or even heard.
Make us whole again.
I will come back to this a bit later, but I just wanted to show you this spooky moment. There will be a dedicated segment later for the audio in this game because it's easily one of the best parts about Dead Space. After finally reaching the shuttle without shitting myself, we attempt to prep it for launch, but it turns out the necromorphs haven't completely lost their brains.
Hostile life form detected.
We just lost our only way off the ship for good, leaving us completely stranded in the middle of dead space. The haunting thing about the situation we're in is there is no one else out here but us. The USG Ishimura was built for long distance expeditions into space. It's one of the few ships built with a shock point drive, which allows them to travel great distances to find important resources. One thing this game loves to do is make you feel completely hopeless, and right now, we're at the bottom.
What the hell is happening down there? What happened to the shuttle?
That was our ride home. It's the only way off the ship.
Kendra,
No, Hammond! This changes everything!
just let me think. Can you access the command computer?
It's no good. There's an executive lockdown of all primary systems. Without the captain's authorization, I can't access them.
Well, where's the captain?
Here he is. Captain Benjamin Mathias. Location? Med lab. Status? Deceased.
What? How?
I can't access that information. Find the captain and you'll find his rig. With his authorization codes, I can crack this computer wide open.
Damn it. Isaac, I'm sending the tram back to your location. Get to the medical deck and find that rig as fast as you can.
What was that?
With the captain dead, we have no other option but to head into medical to find his body. Now, it's important to understand this. Isaac is not a soldier, he's just an average engineer who signed up for the job. Not for a paycheck however, but to be reunited with his girlfriend, Nicole. The game opens with the last message she sent to Isaac, one he would watch over and over again.
Isaac, it's me. I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything. I wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening.
She works on the Ishimura and they have been separated from each other for months. When the ship lost communications, he of course lost his only way to talk with her. He voluntarily joined the repair team as an excuse to go see her. Despite the ship going to hell, he's clinging onto the hope she's still alive.
If I can get to the bridge, I should be able to access the personnel files. You fix the tram, and I'll help you find Nicole.
Before we take the tram to medical, this is where the game introduces the store. Here you can buy, sell, and even store items for future use. Stock isn't limited, but it can get a bit pricey, especially suit levels. Upgrading the suit will not only improve storage capacity and armor, but it changes how it looks visually, which is a detail I absolutely love. Each level increases storage capacity and increases armor by 5%. You can also buy yourself new weapons once they become available to you, and at the end of chapter 1, you get the pulse rifle. Yeah, I'll talk about this weapon a bit later, because right now, the plasma cutter is more than enough. In fact, it's easily the best weapon in the entire game simply because of how versatile it is and how common ammo drops for it. Boarding the medical wing, our first encounter isn't with a necromorph, but rather an actual human being. It's a spooky lady who's lost her marbles.
I knew you would come. Just like you said.
Turns out, she's been waiting for us. Not sure what that could possibly mean, but she does have a nice little gift for us. For some reason, she hands it over then just dies.
Use kinesis to move or throw objects.
This is the kinesis module, a tool that allows engineers or construction workers to use artificial gravity to move almost any object, heavy or light. Just like the stasis module, kinesis is mainly used to solve environmental puzzles and handle objects. You can also pick up items from out of reach places, handy for retrieving ammo or health while in a pinch. Unfortunately, kinesis is nowhere near as useful as the stasis module because you can't really use it to fight necromorphs unless there are explosive barrels lying around. I mean, you can use objects to kill them, but it's beyond useless. All it will do is just push them over, but there was actually one case where I actually found a use for this. After moving the blockage out of the way, you will find your first schematic, the flamethrower. It's dog shit. Schematics can naturally be found as you progress through the story, and they're not really that hard to find. These will unlock the items you found to be bought from the store, and it's not just weapons, but also larger health packs, ammo for different weapons, and of course levels for your suit. As I said before, these are not hard to miss, so don't worry about not finding a certain item. Upon entering medical, Hammond calls us with urgency.
Isaac, are you there? We were attacked. Kendra's gone. 1 minute she was there, and I can't believe I lost her.
It just keeps getting worse. And of course, getting into the medical wing isn't going to be easy. It's been barricaded real good, and the only way through it is if we cook up a bomb. Hammond gives us directions on where we can find a shock pad and some thermite. We can find the first item inside medical storage, which is just down the hallway from here. What is our build?
Oh fuck.
There's one thing you will immediately notice about this side of the ship, and that's the high concentration of bodies. It's a frightening sight, with quite a sad backstory. I will explain what exactly happened here once we're inside, but till then, let's just focus on finding thermite. Unfortunately, when you're wearing a heavy suit such as this, you're bound to make noise, which will attract bad things.
Hazardous anomaly detected.
If there's one thing a quarantine tells us, it's that we're not alone in here. Alarm bells cry out, along with the sounds of necromorphs approaching. Dead Space's horror works best in chaos. Loud noises and ugly threats can easily cause a sensory overload, making these things feel like ninjas when you least expect it. You will get swarmed easily if you don't create space for yourself. Just make sure you don't have your back towards a vent, because that's a necromorph's favourite way to traverse the Ishimura. If they do get too close for comfort, you can risk punching them to move them back a bit, but as you can see, it's not really that effective. Now, melee in the Dead Space franchise is iconic because of Isaac's signature move, the Stomp. Stomping is an effective way of putting crawlers out of their misery and to open up boxes. Melee in the first Dead Space is really not that good. It's slow and awkward to use, and the necromorphs can block an attack that can stun you for a moment. Honestly, it's more of a risk than anything, but in my opinion, it suits Isaac's character. He looks and sounds desperate when he throws hands, and it's a good reminder that he's not a trained killer like you see in most of other horrors. Also, it's probably a good thing it's not powerful in this game because it will make conserving ammo far too easy. It's kinda like your last ditch effort when a necromorph is closing the distance. The stomping on the other hand is powerful when used, and I mean it makes more sense I guess. Melee is far superior in the sequels, but I'll talk about that some other time. After cleaning out the last necromorphs, we finally get some peace and quiet. Before we go and retrieve the thermites, there are some interesting things to find here. The first one being this log from a man named Mercer talking about the colony down on Aegis 7.
I finally convinced Jurgens to show me the video feed from the colony. And what I saw was glorious, breathtaking. Miners undergoing a transformation into something extraordinary. I must know more. Even as the believer within me wants to become one of them, the scientist needs to uncover their secrets. I need to study one of these necromorphs, as Kyne so clinically puts it. I need to witness this infection firsthand. Perhaps that patient from the colony.
This guy sounds incredibly unhinged, and this was before the ship went to hell. To add a little bit more context, there's a colony down at Aegis 7 mining for materials to send back up to Ishimura. What this log tells us is that people down there began transforming into necromorphs, and this Mercer guy seems to be fascinated by this, even wanting to join them.
No more. Even as the believer within me wants to become one of them, the scientist needs to uncover their secrets.
In the next office, we find a recording of a conversation between the captain and a doctor, talking about the colony transforming and it being possibly linked to something they call the marker.
We have to assume that the colony's problems are somehow connected to the marker.
You can assume all you want to. I do not. The marker is glorious and divine. You know that.
Captain, people are dying down there, killing each other. Is this madness the transformation unitology teaches us?
Doctor, there will always be risk when the stakes are high. And here, they're enormous. It could change everything.
And that's what worries me.
There is something else you can find in this office, and it's behind this sneaky bookshelf. It's a room littered with all kinds of information we cannot read, but there is this data log left on the floor. It belongs to Dr. Kyne, the same guy from the video just earlier. Turns out, the colony discovered the very marker they were talking about down on Aegis 7. The first to be found since the beginning of the creation of unitology, a religion within the game that studies and worships markers. Dr. Kyne was eager to see the marker in person so that he could study it himself, but we have no idea at this point if he got the chance to. Whatever this thing truly is, this religion believes the marker could bring a new age for mankind. Deeper inside storage, we run into a new necromorph.
Come on! Come on! Let me out!
This is the Lurker. Named after its behaviour rather than its appearance, because this is one sneaky little boy, having the ability to crawl on any surface and attack from range with its tentacles. But what's really different about this necromorph is its appearance. The story behind this is really dark, and I could explain it to you, but I think the atmosphere will do a better job. Take a listen. These weren't experiments. These infants are made in a lab for storing organs for biological prosthetic procedures. If an adult transforms into a necromorph, it alters their muscle mass and bone density to turn them into killing machines. However, if the transformation doesn't have a lot to work with, it will adapt and alter its overall biomass to create a lurker. It's pretty fucking dark, and it just exposes you just how terrifying the situation we're in. Let's just grab the thermites and get the hell out of storage. All we need now is the shock pad, which can be found in zero-G therapy. And just going to take a quick pause right here. Apparently, only 10% of you lot are subscribed. And if I want to hit 20k by the end of the year, I guess I need to bump those numbers up. So I would greatly appreciate it if you sub to my channel. If you made it this far into the video, then I'm assuming you're enjoying it. I have many videos similar to this on my channel, and if that piques your interest, check it out and maybe stick around for future content. Okay, let's get back to the video. I do not like the sound of that. It seems like those who were spared from turning into a necromorph are just turning insane instead. There seems to be a lot more to this though, because sometimes when you're lurking through the ship, you will hear this. Voices of a medical diagnosis, which could just be ambience to scare you, but what we find in zero-G therapy changes that. We can find a psychiatric report of a man who succumbed to exhaustion. After being brought back from the colony after a certain event, he was shown signs of sociopathic behaviour after taking a doctor hostage and eventually killing them without any remorse. In fact, he believed no crime was committed and continued to act friendly towards other doctors. When questioned on the murder, however, this demeanour had a dramatic shift, becoming withdrawn from his surroundings, displayed schizophrenic behaviour and suffered with hallucinatory periods, just like many others from the colony. It's still too early to tell whether or not this is linked to the necromorphs, but I've got to say, despite the horrors we're in, this is getting quite interesting.
Entering vacuum. Your air meter will appear when you are in a vacuum.
Since parts of the ship have been destroyed, many of the areas are in a vacuum. Only those who are equipped with an engineer or combat suit can go outside for a short period of time. Oxygen is limited but can be upgraded through the workbench, but more on that later. I have played this game many times and this part always blows me away. It's immersive and kind of peaceful. It's the only time you get a break from the horrors of the Ishimura, outside in space, which is funny because the empty void of space itself is just as terrifying. But here, it's just you and the sound of Isaac's heartbeat and breathing. This is a good segue to the game's overall sound design. It's fucking amazing. From the haunting sounds of the necromorphs to the ship's atmosphere, at no point in this game other than here do you get peace. Let's just say, Glen Schofield understood the assignment when it came to audio and horror, and made it one of the most important components when developing Dead Space. It was so important in fact, he ensured areas had system memory preserved for audio, even if it meant sacrificing some other areas. It's even small details in the audio that can really keep you on your heels. Walking through the Ishimura will always make you question what's ahead, or whatever you're hearing is even real. The ship sounds alive. Like necromorphs are just walking around or looking for something to kill. Not just that, but the ship's audio conveys it's alive and working through announcements or warnings. It really makes it feel like the ship was lived and worked in and not just a horror backdrop. Weapons sound incredible too. They have that punchy sci-fi crunch to them which makes them kind of believable. And there's a whole cast of different weapons I haven't spoken about yet, and I will get to that, but for now, here are some demonstrations. But even down to small things like the UI, the sounds from the menu and even the breadcrumbs feature is forever burned into my mind. It's that iconic. Now onto the main reason why this all works. Isaac. Him being a silent protagonist was a design choice to enhance the horror. By controlling someone who doesn't talk at all, completely removes you from any form of comfort and human connection. It's lonely, isolating, and it's a good way to ensure the player focuses on every other audio aspect in the game. Not only that, we are meant to be Isaac. We are his thoughts in the frightening moments. We're his voice when we see something we don't understand, and we are his brain when connecting the story. The only thing we can hear from Isaac is his fear. Like, just hearing this man scream for his life just fills you with dread. The audio of Dead Space is something that has aged like fine wine. I'd even argue it's better than most modern horror games today, simply because a lot of focus and love was prioritised for it. It makes moments like these memorable. Oh shit.
Your ammo counter will flash red if you can't jump to a surface.
This is zero gravity. I don't think I need to explain what this is, but I can show you Isaac dive around the room. Yet unfortunately, we cannot fly or float around, and that's due to Isaac's suit not being equipped with thrusters, only magnet boots, which is why he walks around like he shit himself. It is kind of awkward to use, but it does work. You mainly see this in areas requiring a puzzle or something to fix. It's a cool feature that gets used quite a lot in this game.
No. Entering vacuum.
What the fuck? With the shock pad collected, we have everything we need to blow our way into medical, and that was pretty underwhelming. As we finally enter it, we find something unexpected. It's Nicole, giving us an insight into the sheer chaos that happened here.
Nicole Brennan transmitting ship-wide. We need more help. We don't have the resources to deal with this many cases. Nobody would tell us what's happening. These wounds, we are not equipped to deal with this. God. Get him to the table. Hold him. Nurse, you hold him down. Christ. Every quarter.
The medical bay is filled with bodies, and it's simply because they were overwhelmed with patients during the necromorph outbreak. It's incredibly bleak and gruesome. In a desperate attempt to keep the monsters out, they barricaded themselves in, though it wasn't enough. As we've already learned, the necromorphs use vents to get around the ship, so they essentially trap themselves. Hammond does reassure us that she may still be alive, since he doesn't know when the log was made, but it does paint a hopeless picture.
That was Nicole, right? I can't tell from here when that log was made. I'm sure she's around here somewhere.
There is one other audio log we can find inside that does suggest they may have barricaded the entrance to keep something inside instead. It's from a patient who woke up inside and everyone was gone, only for it to end in quite a disturbing way.
Everybody was gone. I don't know what's happening. Why did they all leave? I'm going to try and find someone. If you can hear this, please come for me. I can hear scratching in the wall. Hello? Who's there? Are you a doctor? Why is everyone... Wait, I know you. You're Harris, the prisoner from the colony. You killed that nurse. Help! Somebody help me! Please! Please!
Harry was the patient from the colony, the one who killed a doctor and showed signs of schizophrenia. He eventually turned into one of them. Finally entering the morgue, we see the captain's body on the other side, but something else gets to it before we do. A very unique and disgusting looking creature showing hardly any resemblance to any human. It's called the Infector. Named after its purpose of simply spreading whatever this is. It's usually quite passive and will instantly bulk to any body it can find to convert. These bastards work best when you're distracted by other necromorphs, because it gives it time to spawn more in. Taking a closer look, it definitely was a human. You can see its spine protruding through its back, and its wings is just stretched human skin. Fucking gross. With that abomination out of the way, we collect the captain's codes and forward them to Hammond. With these, he will be able to access the data logs of the Ishimura, which will help find a way off the ship and maybe help understand what happened here. There is one thing that does raise some alarms, and that's the captain's autopsy report. His overall health was good and showed no signs of any underlying conditions. Multiple contusions were found on his arms and legs, which indicates a struggle and was possibly restrained. There was also a single prolonged trauma to the eye and to his brain, causing severe neurotrauma, seizure, and finally death. So he died before the outbreak, which does indicate something was up before current events. As we're making our way back to the tram, Hammond calls with some interesting information and some bad news.
Isaac! Somehow one of them found a way down to the captain's nest. I managed to contain it in a damaged escape pod. Lifting executive lockdown now. I found the deck logs. Whatever is happening around here, it came from the planet when they cracked it open. It spread to the colony and reached the ship. Isaac, this isn't an infection. It's some form of alien life. Shit, we've got bigger problems. The ship's engines are offline and our orbit is decaying. Get over to the engineering deck ASAP while I stay here and figure out what the problem is.
The data logs confirm whatever this is, it came from Aegis 7, and it's some sort of alien life form, not an infection. We're obviously not entirely sure how this all works, but from what we've seen, it appears they're latching onto humans and changing them. However, this transformation can only happen after death. I mean, the name Necromorph kinda made that obvious. The bad news is, the Ishimura is currently in freefall because the engines are offline, meaning we've been falling since the moment we arrived. Not very good. Arriving at engineering, we learn this situation is a lot more complicated.
Few problems, and we're working on borrowed time here. First, there's no fuel in the engines. Second, the gravity centrifuge is offline, which means there's a couple of trillion tons of rock pulling us down. I need you to get that centrifuge operational. Refuel the main engine and fire it up so I can stabilize the ship's orbit.
The fueling system is damaged, so before we even think about turning the centrifuge back on, someone's got to repair it, and I know just the guy for the job.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
It was at this point I decided to bring a new weapon, the pulse rifle. Technically the only firearm in the entire game, because the other weapons are basically tools that weren't made for killing, but they do a damn fine job at doing it. So, how does the pulse rifle hold up? Well, not very good. It's kind of a meme how bad this weapon really is. The only benefits is its ammo pool and it can stun lock necromorphs. But saying that, every weapon can stun lock them except for one. The pulse rifle is just weak, and even with upgrades, it doesn't hold its own against the others. Like, why would I spend roughly 30 bullets killing one necromorph when I can spend 5 from the plasma cutter? Get what I mean? Actually, while we're on this topic, let's talk about the workbench. This is how you upgrade your modules, your rig and weapons using power nodes you find all over the game. Some weapons come with different upgrades but will share the same damage, capacity and reload buffs. I can spend the next minute explaining how this all works, but come on man, it's an upgrade tree, like what more do I need to say? I'm not going to go into great detail about the workbench because it's really not all that fun to talk about. Let's just turn the fueling system back on. Engineering is quite a spooky place. Its sci-fi industrial look makes this place look like a work hazard alone. Not only that, it's really loud down here. The fueling system has this large empty void, obscured by smoke and darkness. It really puts into perspective just how big the Ishimura really is. Getting the fueling system back on is a really simple task. All we have to do is use our kinesis module to lower rods on either side of engineering. One can be found on the side we're currently on, and the other is across this void. Good thing the gondola is still working though, despite everything else being broken down here. However, as we're crossing, the necromorphs decide to all come out and patiently wait for us. Yeah, this fucking sucks. Cleaning up that mess, we find an interesting log left by an engineer, and it's quite telling.
Never should have let him live. Never should have let him live. Shut it, Danvers. Shut it. Engineering log. Temple reporting. Someone has shut off the fuel lines to the primary engine and damaged the valves in the process.
Turns out the damage was a lot more severe than we previously imagined. Someone on board sabotaged the fuel valves. We have no idea when this was recorded, but they suspect it was one of the unitologists. Those religious guys who worship the markers we read about back in medical. The question is, why? Surely, the necromorphs would be a good enough reason to leave this place. Something was wrong with this ship long before people start turning into monsters. That's becoming quite clear now. With the fueling system back online, it's only a matter of getting the centrifuge back up and running to activate the engines. And I thought it would be a good idea to ditch the pulse rifle and bring out the Ripper. A tool equipped with... Wait, hold on, this is a mouthful, what the hell? Circular diamond coated tungsten blades, fucking hell, for cutting into rock and is now being repurposed to cut off limbs. It shoots a gravitating blade to avoid accidents, and this bad boy is spinning at a rate of 17,000 RPM. No wonder this thing is so violent. The sound design for this thing is scary. It just screams bad accidents, but is it any good? Yes and no. It does take some time to get used to. You have to be at the perfect distance for the blade to connect with a necromorph, and if you're short, they can get between you and the fidget spinner, which is kinda awkward. Too far and you will be wasting the shortcut and time this blade has, which I do find odd. Tungsten is the strongest pure metal found on Earth, yet this blade can only last 5 seconds. If used correctly, the Ripper can deal with multiple necromorphs with a single blade, which is insane. You can conserve a lot of ammo using this thing, and honestly, it's a lot of fun too. There is a slight problem though. All of the other weapons in this game can stun lock, except for this one. It's still a great weapon if used right, but does take some time getting used to. Better than the pulse rifle, that's for sure. As we're approaching the centrifuge, something begins to well through the walls. Whatever it is, it sounds big. Following the noise only confirms our dread. A thought begins to form in the back of your mind. We have to come back through here at some point. Something will definitely come for us. It's only a matter of time.
Exiting zero gravity. Entering zero gravity.
This is the centrifuge. It's basically a large heavy weight that spins to keep the ship balanced. Right now, the gravity has been turned off because an engineer made an attempt to fix it himself, but as you can see, he didn't get very far. Fixing the centrifuge is pretty simple, but the necromorphs can make it a pain in the arse. The Leaper and Lurker are the only 2 monsters we need to worry about during Zero G segments, because they were basically built for it. I think what makes them challenging in Zero G is actually trying to spot the fuckers. Since we're able to go on any surface ourselves, it's really easy to lose your bearings and get disorientated. If we want to fix the centrifuge, we must combine stasis and kinesis to reattach the generator modules. This kind of gameplay is so much better than simple button presses, QTEs, or even pushing items. The kind of stuff you would see in a Resident Evil game. In Dead Space, pretty much everything is interactable, which was one of the main rules Glen Schofield had when making this game, and I do want to touch more on that later. Once it's back on, this room becomes one giant death trap.
Establishing balance with planetary cargo. Gravity restored. Entering vacuum.
With death ears, necromorphs, a ticking oxygen supply and a spinning health hazard, it makes you wonder if working here was worth the paycheck. Getting out of here requires us to dodge the centrifuge, and this always puts a funny feeling in my stomach every time I play this section. The fact you can't hear shit or even look behind you makes it hard to know if you're about to be sent to heaven. It is funny watching the necromorphs mindlessly run towards you and then get crushed, which really drives home the point they're just mindless killing machines. Running for my life, I eventually reached the exit with every limb attached, and now it's time to focus on the engine. However, doubling back through the halls, this happens. Now, I just want to pause it here for a moment and talk about this encounter. Not only is this the most iconic moment from the game, but it's an important part of the game's history, because this very moment almost prevented this game from ever existing. For months, Glen and his team tried to get this to work. It may look very simple to the average person, but animating this moment proved to be quite difficult for the team. They spent millions animating this thing over and over again, and they couldn't get it to work. The problem they had was making this moment interactable. This isn't a cutscene, it's still gameplay. In order for us to escape, we must shoot the glowing spot before it drags us into the hole. Glen almost considered breaking his rule of having every moment interactable just to keep this part in, but his dedication to get the exact game he wanted finally got it to work. And it was nothing to do with his team. He self-reflected and realised he was actually the problem. The way he was giving out assignments was overcomplicating the process. They obviously got it to work because, well, I'm showing you it, but this one scene is a testament to Glen's dedication, passion and work ethic. Getting out of this thing's grip is as awkward as it is terrifying. The laser is completely off center, which threw my muscle memory off balance, and each time it yanks me, it resets it, ramping up the pressure even further and pulling you closer to your demise. But I have over 1,000 hours on Counter-Strike, so you know, it was pretty easy for me. With the tentacle now gone, it's much quieter now. The centrifuge does roar in the background and the whispers still linger, but whatever that thing was, it's gone somewhere else. The atmosphere is just so good. Taking the elevator back, a familiar face decides to get back in contact.
Isaac, can you hear me? It's Kendra. They attacked me, I ran for it, and Hammond he just disappeared.
Kendra? Where are you?
Nice to see you're alive and well, Hammond.
Now that's a face of disappointment. Using her computer specialist skills, she was able to hack into the ship's security and retrieve some secret data.
I can log into everything from here. I hacked the route and found some reports from the colony. Even before they cracked the planet, the colonists were experiencing widespread dementia. It seems to be related to some artifact they found on the planet.
With the information we discovered combined with Kendra's findings, it confirms whatever caused the outbreak is related to the marker. It does make you wonder, with unitologists on board and with the first marker being discovered in 200 years, there's no way this is a coincidence. While heading down to the engine room, we make a gruesome discovery. A large mass of flesh, mould, whatever the hell this is, it's beginning to take over the ship. Something is growing here, something much larger and more incomprehensible. Reaching the bottom only makes this more disturbing. Grafted onto the wall along with it is a human. All of this is biomass, being collected by the necromorphs to make them join something greater. It's horrifying. We can find a log left by an engineer who documented this growth, and they tried their best to prevent the spread by cutting away at it, but it's growing too fast. Again, who knows when this was recorded? For all we know, it's already spread to parts of the ship we cannot repair. Whatever it is, it's on the ship somewhere. At the bottom, we can also find a recording from an engineer named Temple, confirming that not only was the engine sabotaged, but also other parts have been tampered with.
This is Temple. Screw the engine. I can't restart it by myself, and with all the other shit going on, it's obvious this is sabotage. I'm heading for the bridge, and then I need to find Elizabeth. I gotta get her off this ship, it's not safe.
As we enter the engine room, we catch the necromorphs in the middle of moving bodies towards the growing mass. Along with that, a new threat. This necromorph is called Pregnant. Real clever name, guys. It's named this for its swollen sac that extrudes from its abdomen. It's basically a slasher necromorph, but with a twist.
Come in, Isaac! Kendra, is anyone...
Damaging the sac causes baby necromorphs to come out, and they are quite feisty. These buggers will deal an extreme amount of damage if not dealt with quickly. They're honestly more of a threat than their mother, so caution is advised. You will usually see these things with groups of other necromorphs because they work best when you're distracted. This room basically demonstrates that for you. You will probably notice at this point, this game is heavily inspired by Resident Evil 4, and that's actually one of the game's biggest inspirations. Glen is very open about what inspired this game, and he basically pitched it to EA by saying Resident Evil, but in space. He innovated the gameplay, however, by simply giving us the ability to move and shoot, making it feel a lot more modern. The other inspiration he used was Silent Hill. He wanted the atmosphere and storytelling to be similar to something you would see in a Silent Hill game, because he believed they nailed storytelling in horror, and he's definitely not wrong. Saying that, Dead Space's story is amazing, but more on that later. As for the actual game setting, it was inspired by Event Horizon, a sci-fi horror film about a spaceship that went missing, suddenly reappearing after 7 years. I've not actually watched it, so I have nothing else to add. Clearing out the infestation gives us access to the engine controls, and we get the ship roaring again.
Engines firing.
This sound design is so good. But wait, one more problem. The asteroid defenses are down.
Wait, we're not safe yet. Ship's asteroid defense system is offline. On the way up, the ship's going to pass through a debris field thrown up from the planet crack. We'll be ripped to pieces unless you restart it.
God damn it! I'll start working on it from here. Isaac, meet me at the bridge. You can do more good here than I can.
Of course we have to do it. With that shitty news, Hammond wants us to meet him back at the bridge so we can work together on this one. So we're not entirely solo. But as we're heading back, someone contacts us.
Isaac, where are you? It's me, Nicole.
It's Nicole, somehow alive and is wondering where we are. This is a massive moment of relief for Isaac, giving back his hope that he will be back with her eventually. However, we have no idea where she is or how to even get to her. So till then, we must get those defences back up before we even think of a rescue plan. As we arrive at the bridge, Kendra begins to press Hammond for answers about the marker.
When were you going to tell us about the artifact, Hammond? This marker?
I don't know anything about that. It's referenced in the captain's records. They brought it up from the planet.
It's on the ship?
In cargo. They think it's of alien origin, but I don't know what the hell it is.
Really? CEC didn't know anything about it. You're lying.
Back off! I am not the bad guy here. Raw shaky right now. You're gonna have to trust that I don't know anything about it.
Convinced he is hiding something from us, all he knows is that the marker artifact is being held in cargo. On our way to the bridge, a spooky jump scare catches us. Now, I don't know about you, but that thing is pretty fucking big.
Warning. Hull breach detected.
We meet Hammond at the bridge to think of a plan, and he lays it out for us.
This mess is the asteroid defense system. I can fix these boards, but the main power routing is shot. You're gonna have to reroute them manually through at least 3 junction boxes to activate the primary cannon.
And that's it, back on our own again. Interactions like this hardly ever happen in this game. Instead, most of the time you are talking to people through the rig link, and that's how the story unfolds. By doing this, it removes the majority of the human connection we had at the beginning, reinforcing the isolating and lonely atmosphere of this game. It feels like we're all alone fighting this hell in a small corner of the universe. That fills me with dread, because if the necromorphs don't kill us, then it will be a slow and painful fall to Aegis 7. Or even worse, we join them. Before leaving Hammond, he gives us a big warning.
By the way, Isaac, be careful. I saw something out there, I don't know what. I only got a glimpse. But it was big. Really big.
Oh, that sounds fun. This is the Brute. Composed of multiple human corpses with bone and calcified skin acting as armour, protecting its front limbs from all damage. It does this as a way to protect its rear, since that's the only place we can hurt it. So I thought it was a good time to whip out the line gun. Now, think of the plasma cutter, but bigger. That's pretty much what this thing is, and it absolutely slaps. Used to mine and harvest larger minerals, the plasma cutter cannot handle. I'd argue this is the second best weapon in the game, since it's, well, a bigger plasma cutter. Like, what more do I need to say? Using stasis on the Brute and cutting it down with the line gun, it goes down with ease.
Quarantine lifted.
With that out of the way, we can safely turn the power back on to the elevators.
Isaac, make us whole again.
Bro, why is she so clingy? I'm trying to work here. As we're taking the elevators down to the low levels, we can watch a video log of the captain's final moments.
We tried for mutiny. Kind, make them listen to reason. Settle down, men. Hold him. By Maritime Law, Article 5469, I hereby declare Captain Benjamin Mathias unfit for duty.
The marker must be delivered to the church. Terrence, please.
I'm sorry, Ben, but I can't let you do this.
Traitor. Heretic.
Hold his head. Murderer! Hold him!
Dead.
No, it was an accident. I had to stop him.
Arrest the doctor.
Dr. Kyne murdered him. Even though he claims it was an accident, the footage says otherwise. It appears he declared him unfit for work because of the marker. He wanted to bring it to the Church of Unitology, which makes sense, since it's a thing they worship. From what we found in Dr. Kyne's office, he's also a member of Unitology. Something between them at this point is conflicting. They follow the same religion but appear to have different opinions as to what is going on. We have no idea when this happened, so we don't know whether or not the necromorph outbreak has started yet. I think this was before the infestation. Maybe the captain began to show signs of dementia or schizophrenia, exactly like the colonists from Aegis 7, which would explain him being declared unfit. It's either that, or Dr. Kyne is taking advantage of the situation. Arriving at the location of the junction boxes, we discover the rooms have turned into death traps. Come on, I think that edit deserves a like. We are required to enter a few of these rooms to fix them, and the necromorphs can make it quite challenging to reach them. In order for us to get the cannons back up and running, we must rewire the auto controls if we want any chance of surviving the onslaught of asteroids. Oh my god, what the fuck? No. While we're doing this, Kendra continues to dig through the ship logs and discovers some disturbing information. Have a listen.
Isaac, listen up. I've gone over the MedSci reports. These things are biorecombinators. They take dead tissue, absorb it, and mold it into new forms. One iteration seems to have the sole purpose of infecting corpses. The others, well, seem to be making corpses to infect. And that body tissue we keep seeing on the walls is part of it too. I found a report that says it's a habitat changer.
A habitat changer? Well, they've picked a pretty shit place to call home. As we're approaching the cannons, we run into this otherworldly encounter.
Make us whole again.
This walking corpse repeats a phrase we just heard earlier.
Isaac, make us whole again.
And the screens begin to glitch out all around us, lighting up the room with this orange hue, rather than the usual colours we see. We are basically fighting an alien life form, but something feels supernatural about this place. Now this next part, not really a fan of it.
Across the starboard hull.
What? In order for us to reach the cannons, we must head outside into space, while we're in the middle of a fucking asteroid field. Yeah, this was Hammond's plan, by the way. We must take this long stretch across the ship without being torn to shreds. And, to be honest, it's kind of annoying. For one, you have to run from cover to cover, which is kinda tedious, and two, our oxygen is limited. By the time I almost reached the end, I only had 17 seconds left in the tank. Brother, I ain't making that. This is where the air can finally has a use, and it's the only time it's ever saved me. I usually write this item off because honestly, it's kinda useless. Getting across the minefield, we finally make it to the cannons, and it's a turret section. We basically just have to shoot the asteroids and buy Hammond time. Yeah, this chapter kinda sucks, I won't lie, but thankfully, it's not downhill from here. There is one other chapter I hate, probably more than this one, but more on that later. After finally fixing the turrets, we are yet again faced with a new problem.
Wait! Isaac Hammond, you're not gonna believe this. Oxygen levels are falling. Something's poisoning hydroponics air production, and whatever it is, it's filling the deck up with that organic stuff. We're not going to have any air to breathe soon. But if I understand these lab reports correctly, I think I can make a poison to destroy it. Head to medical. It should have everything you need.
Will this never end?
Oh, fantastic. Something within hydroponics is poisoning the air. Kendra does have a plan, however. So before we go there, she wants us to head back to medical and make a toxin. This chapter is also pretty short, and all we have to do is collect some ingredients. But once we arrive, something is different.
You can't stand in the way of God's plan, the natural order. Are you blind like the rest?
We're not alone here. Someone has managed to survive for this long, but judging by his behaviour, he's up to no good. And just a little bit further inside, we learn exactly who this is and just how unhinged he has become.
Personal log, Dr. Charles Mercer. I now have a live subject for my study. I'm eager to validate my tissue regeneration theory. Initial restraint was problematic, but now the patient's resting comfortably. He trusts me, Dr. Kind. He puts his life in my hands. He knows his part in all of this. Understands what I'm doing. The forehead has been swabbed clean and marked.
What are you doing with that?
And I'm now attempting to create a passage to insert the sample into...
It's Dr. Mercer, the same crazed unitologist fanatic who is eager to join the necromorphs. In this recording, he is using a live test subject, attempting to insert a sample into his forehead to infect him, a similar method to how the necromorphs infect others. Mercer isn't the only thing in our way. This horrifying necromorph is a Guardian. They are linked with the biomass growing throughout the ship, and their sole purpose is to prevent anything from getting to areas that are important to it. It launches out these small pods to attack you, and will keep throwing them until you kill it. It's pretty easy to deal with, and honestly it's not really a huge threat unless you get a bit too close. Not too far from this abomination, you will eventually stumble onto the chemical solution we need, but there's something in the room with us Mercer wants us to see.
Antigen compound completed. Please remove
Your
the capsule.
fight for survival is admirable but pointless. And yet you keep on going. It almost makes me think that we had hope as a species. Am I the only one who sees that we have died out a long time ago? We just haven't accepted it yet. Stop running. Stop your struggle. Our future, your future, the future of our race ends here. Allow me to introduce you to humanity's child, the children that will replace us. Our greatest creation.
This ugly thing is the next step for humanity, or at least that's what Mercer believes. He sees the necromorphs as a solution to the human race, convinced we are dying as a species and the only way to survive is if we evolve. This necromorph in particular is a unique bioengineered variant created from the live test subject Mercer used. It is simply known as the Hunter. This bugger isn't easy to kill. In fact, he has God mode on. No matter what you do or what limbs you shoot off, it will always regenerate. So the best thing we can do right now is buy ourselves some time. Stasis and hacking all of its limbs off will give you more than enough time to run, but we aren't quite finished down here. We still need to collect a DNA sample from the ICU, which means the Hunter is going to be sticking around for quite some time. So I thought it was time to try out the contact beam. A tool designed to break up much larger and tougher minerals the line gun can't handle. This weapon is extremely powerful but kinda slow to use. It requires the shot to be charged before it can be fired, but the damage output outweighs that negative. It's perfect for something like the Hunter, usually only taking just one shot to blast a limb off. I'd argue this weapon is overkill and a waste of ammo against the lesser necromorphs, but it's perfect for bosses like this. Right now, it's got us in a pinch. We're currently trapped in the room with it until Kendra can bypass the lock. Now, I know he looks kinda scary, but stasis makes this encounter incredibly easy.
You can't kill it, Isaac! It's just gonna keep regenerating! Get out of there! Run!
With the lock lifted, we make a mad dash through ICU, and it's where we find Dr. Mercer's office. As you can see, he's pretty fucking crazy. All over the floor and walls are weird symbols, and he has human heads on shelves like he's collecting trophies. It's also in here where we find the DNA sample, the last ingredient we need for Kendra's toxin. After picking it up, Mercer has some words for us.
That's it, Isaac. Now you just need to...
This has gone far enough. Accept your part in the God's plan. Embrace your own extinction.
Warning. Life support system failure on medical.
What the hell was that?
Please evacuate immediately.
Isaac, he's decompressed the entire deck, and I'm being locked out of those systems. All the air has been vented into space. You should be able to bring it back online from the security station, but you don't have much time.
After his test subject failed to do its job, he has decided to make the situation a bit more tense, completely locking Kendra out and putting us on a timer. This moment is both claustrophobic and suffocating. Removing the sound from the game just makes it more tense because we only have our eyes to rely on, and between us and the exit is a swarm of necromorphs and a pissed off hunter. The power switch is only back in the lobby, so it's not too far away. If you stick around to fight them, then you might cut it close, but you're not really in complete danger unless you put yourself in a corner. With the toxin finally produced, it's just a matter of getting to hydroponics. In our way, however, is one final encounter with Mercer, for now at least.
The work I have done must continue. Will continue. I, Dr. Charles Mercer, shall serve as the catalyst to the salvation of our species. These specimens will return to Earth with me. I will spread their divine glory across the entire planet. I will leave you with my creation. Embrace the inevitable.
Okay, now I know this might be a scary situation, but I've played this game before. All we have to do is bait him into this chamber, blast his limbs off so he can't escape, press the button and then it's GG. This traps the hunter and places him into a cryogenic state. Now, it's finally time to head to hydroponics. Hammond warned us earlier that the situation there is a lot worse than we originally thought, and he has been unresponsive ever since. We can find him outside of hydroponics, barely alive, warning us there is something really, really big inside food storage.
Don't take your helmet off. The air's rotten. I gotta look at it. It's huge. You won't believe it. Shut itself in food storage.
Spooky. He managed to get a look at what's going on inside, and it turns out the workers on this deck have turned into something horrifying and have become poison factories. We can only reach the massive creature in food storage once the air supply is cleaned. And honestly, this is my least favourite part in this game, and I will talk about that in a second. The atmosphere of hydroponics is nothing like we've ever heard before on this ship. Usually, the areas we visit are filled with nightmarish and industrial sounds to the point we've gotten used to it. In fact, it's something you anticipate when you enter new places, but here, it's a pleasant surprise. The industrial sounds have been replaced with jungle ambience. It's well lit and exposes us to a completely different colour palette. It's actually quite relaxing, but this is Dead Space, so you know it doesn't last very long. We are suddenly attacked by a large concentration of necromorphs protecting whatever is in food storage. Kendra was able to retrieve some data on it, and it doesn't sound too good. A scientist named Dr. Elizabeth Cross was the one who initially discovered it and dubbed the necromorph the Leviathan. But there is something about this one in particular that makes it incredibly unique and kind of changes what we know right now.
Hydroponics log, Dr. Cross reporting. Something huge just slammed into the hull near food storage. It wasn't a rogue asteroid. I know what that sounds like. But it was big and heavy. I'll report again when I know more.
This thing didn't originate on the ship. It in fact came from space. On a recording we can find from Dr. Cross, we learn it collided with the ship before the outbreak. We know the necromorphs came from Aegis 7 and it's possible it's all related to the marker, but how the hell did this thing get on the ship? It barricaded itself in food storage since the moment it arrived, and has been spreading its corruption throughout the ship. Dr. Cross tried her best to kill this thing, but ultimately abandoned her post to look for Temple, the engineer who reported the sabotage back on the engineering deck. Now, it's up to us to clean this mess. So joining me on this suicide mission is the Force Gun, a handheld gravitational device used for clearing debris or mining operations. I've played this game many times and always thought this weapon was a bit of a meme, but I've never been so wrong. If not used correctly, it will only push necromorphs over and do hardly any damage. I eventually realised the Force Gun is essentially a shotgun. At extreme close range, and I mean extreme, it can one-shot almost anything in front of you. This part in the game made me fall in love with the Force Gun because it can prevent you from getting swarmed. Its ammo drop rate isn't as common as the plasma cutter, but when you only need one shot most of the time, it doesn't really matter. Moving closer towards one of the poison factories, we begin to hear laboured breathing. This is known as a Weezer, the one necromorph variant that retained most of its human appearance. Their lungs have expanded out through their backs and now produce a deadly gas. This is what vaping does to your lungs, kid. Now this is why this chapter sucks. There are 8 of these things we need to kill and they're plotted throughout the entire deck. It kind of feels like time padding, as there's not really much else going on in between other than this. This is an exploder. The only necromorph to have a serious weakness for you to exploit, and that's their left arm. You can just shoot it once to kill it and everything else around it instantly, or you can cut off its left arm and throw it at something else. These guys are secretly your best friend, and can make some of the more tougher segments a breeze. But turn your back on them for too long, you're going to have a bad day. They're slow, extremely weak, and pose no threat to you unless you give it the opportunity. You will always know when one is near, since they make a really distinct sound among the industrial background. As we move towards the next Weezer, we see this.
Isaac, make us whole again.
Nicole continues to reach out to us through the ship, but something feels off about this. She repeats the same unitologist phrase we've seen throughout the ship: make us whole again. It does make you wonder if Nicole is one of them, and maybe is involved in some way. She is still alive somewhere and is asking for our help, but there's not much we can really do right now until we solve the Leviathan problem. If anyone is going to help us, it might be her. Not only to get answers, but perhaps know a way off the Ishimura. Deeper into hydroponics, we meet an old friend. The fact this thing is able to reach us here too is a clear indicator it belongs to the Leviathan. Hopefully Kendra's toxin works, because I don't know if Isaac can keep this shit up. Bro is acting as a one-man army and is doing all the dirty work. It's beyond this encounter that we learn something very interesting. The strange symbols we can see throughout the ship isn't random, it's an alien language. Someone managed to figure it out and left it here as a warning. The writings we can find were most likely left by unitologists, since we do find a bunch of it inside Mercer's office, and judging by this guy's message, they must mean something dark. If you took the time to translate some, they would say things such as, keep us whole, Altman be praised, death is only the beginning, live for the church, die for the church, and black marker. We don't learn much from this, but it will become relevant later. As we're closing in on the final Weezer, we get an idea just how much the Leviathan has corrupted, and it's fucking disgusting. Zero G had to be turned on in this part of hydroponics because it was impossible to go around any other way. Not only that, I don't think touching this stuff is the greatest idea. What? I was writing a note down, I didn't realise I was still in the danger zone. Dead Space just has this kind of horror that can make you feel queasy. From its grotesque body horror to its environmental design, this is one ugly looking game in the best way possible. Every time I play this game, it only makes me want to go have a hot shower to violently scrub my own skin until I look like a new man. No other horror game has made me feel disgusted with its visuals quite like Dead Space, and it's aged so incredibly well. With that said, it only makes you wonder what the hell the Leviathan even looks like. It's not long until we find out. Killing the final Weezer triggers a call with Kendra.
That's the last one, Isaac. There's a switch in atmosphere control to restart the oxygen recycling.
Now that the poison has been cleaned out, we are able to finally restart the oxygen recycling system and use the toxin to kill the Leviathan. While we were doing all of that, Kendra found a report stating there was mass hallucinations among the crew, and now it's beginning to affect her because she just saw her brother.
Of course. The crew all began having mass hallucinations, and well, I just saw my brother on a security monitor, and that's just not possible.
This is alarming because we've not only heard things, but we've also been seeing things that have made us question what was even real. Despite that, we don't have enough time to ponder over it. The situation on the Ishimura is getting dire every minute, and Nicole still needs our help.
Isaac, where are you? Help me.
We do learn where she could potentially be in just a moment, and it happens to be a place we're heading to next, but not until we dealt with a big problem. Once the air has been cleaned out, we can finally see if this toxin was even worth our time. The entrance towards it is pretty gross. It's like we're walking down this thing's throat. The Leviathan at this point might as well be part of the ship, rather than it being an alien entity. Before we deal with it, we learn a hint on Nicole's whereabouts. We can find one final log from Dr. Cross before she left hydroponics, and apparently the mining deck is where the survivors gathered.
Hydroponics log, this is Dr. Cross. It's hard for me to believe what I'm seeing here. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to the mining deck. I hear that's where survivors are gathering. Jacob, I'll wait for you there.
If we want any chance at finding Nicole, that place is our best bet.
Unknown antigen injected into the filtration system.
Damn it. The poison wasn't strong enough. It's still alive. Get in there and kill it before it contaminates the entire ship.
And of course, the toxin didn't work. Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. Holy shit. The Leviathan is just one gigantic lump of biomass wedged in food storage. And I'm not going to say anything about what this thing looks like. It attacks us using its tentacles and will punish you if you stay in one place. This entire chamber is in zero gravity, however, so it does make it just slightly easier to dodge its tentacles. One thing I do find funny is the fact you can freely dive up to it and it doesn't give a shit. I was expecting some kind of brutal death animation or something. If we want to kill this thing, we have to shoot off its tentacles to reveal its weak spot in the centre. It's a pretty straightforward boss fight with zero gimmicks. The sound design of this thing is fantastic too. Really drives home the monstrous nature of this thing. Once you've blasted off the tentacles, it will then start throwing explosive balls at you, and if you're quick enough, you can catch them out of the air with kinesis and throw it back, though I am convinced it doesn't do any damage to it. Either that, or they're just incredibly weak, so you're really just better off using the plasma cutter until it's dead.
You did it. Hammond, do you read? Oxygen levels are returning to normal. Damn it. He's gone again. No sign of his rig anywhere. It's up to us now. I've got a plan to get off this ship. I've located an SOS beacon on the mining deck. If you can get down there and activate it, we might be able to send a distress call. Oh God, I don't know how much longer the dark will hold.
Now that it's fully gone, we have just bought ourselves some more time. Hammond is still not responding to us, so Kendra takes the initiative. With an SOS beacon somewhere down in mining, we can attach it to a rock the ship is holding onto and send it into space. The chances of being found are rather slim, but not impossible. We just have to survive long enough to actually send an SOS. As we arrive at the mining deck, one thing is immediately apparent. There were survivors here. They're gone now. Instead, we only find more necromorphs here. Nicole's fate is definitely up for discussion now. Everywhere we've been has been completely void of human life. I mean, we've obviously had encounters with some, but they were far too gone to be saved. The mining deck immediately tells you the survivors who gathered are most likely dead, and that could potentially include Nicole. As bleak as it is, we're not here for them. We're here to save ourselves. Before we can release the large rock the Ishimura is holding onto, we first need to find the master key to gain access to the SOS beacon. So joining me on this mission is the flamethrower. The final weapon in this game, and easily the worst thing to ever exist in the Dead Space franchise. Just like the Ripper, it cannot stun lock the necromorphs, but not only that, it's incredibly weak. And the ammo is gone before you know it. Like, this weapon is so bad, it's not even worth talking about. So, like the video if you hate the flamethrower. All my homies hate the flamethrower. Kendra locates the master key for us, but getting to it requires a bit of engineering work. We must restore gravity in this massive room with a death ray just casually chilling in the centre. If we want to restore gravity, we must clean up the room a bit by moving asteroids into the beam. It's rather simple, but it's just another cool interactable moment within this game. While doing that, you will get swarmed by a bunch of necromorphs, but the exploders make it a bit too easy. With the master key collected, we make our way down to the maintenance level, and it's where we come across this interesting audio log. It was made by an engineer who got into a sticky situation with Dr. Kyne, claiming he knows how to stop all of this if everyone just listens to him.
Codes to the cargo bay. You idiot! This is processing. Why the hell would I have codes to cargo? Don't lie to me. I'm sick of everyone lying to me. It is imperative that I get the marker. Give me those codes. I don't have them. Is this what you did to the captain? Go on. Shoot me if you've got the balls. Idiots! It's the only way to stop it. The only way to end it. He's completely lost it. Somebody call security.
He's obviously a bit crazy, so we have no idea whether or not he's telling the truth. It's beyond this point, we find the person we've desperately been trying to find. After getting across this death trap, we find Nicole, all limbs attached and thankfully breathing.
Is that really you? It feels like it's been so long. But I can help you now. Come with me. The beacon's in the storage room next to you. I think I could disable the lock from here. Hold on.
While she works her magic on the door lock to storage, we must protect her in a pretty goofy moment. Necromorphs will try to swarm her, and it's up to us to ensure our girlfriend doesn't get turned into mincemeat. She isn't Ashley Graham, so it doesn't require that level of protection.
Man, shut your bitch ass up!
This is a rather short reunion though, since she's not able to reach us. It's pretty uneventful, but she does help us reach the SOS beacon.
Okay, the door's unlocked, Isaac. I can't get over to you, but I'll find a way. I love you. This will all be over soon.
Wait, how does she know we're after it? Also, how did she know it was us?
Isaac? Is that really you?
Something ain't adding up. Well, at least we know she's alive. With the beacon collected, we now have to make our way back up to the mining bay. Getting there does require us to play electrician a bit, since someone has been fucking around with the batteries. For some reason, I thought you could just launch the batteries into the socket with kinesis. Turns out, I'm just an idiot. Please tell me I'm not the only one who tried this though.
Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard?
Deep inside the mining deck, you will eventually find a large rock the ship is holding onto. This giant meatball will be our saviour. Before we destroy the gravity tethers, we must attach the SOS beacon on it. Wait, was that the cinema sin sound? Once Kendra's plan is fully prepped, all we need to do now is launch it into space.
Beacon's on its way. All functions normal and broadcasting wideband. Now we just have to hope somebody's listening. I'll position the array receiver. I thought I saw my brother again. He waved to me, like nothing was wrong. Okay. I should be able to leave this channel open. What? The comms array receiver isn't responding.
But wait, one more problem. The comms receiver isn't working. The very thing we were sent here to repair. So we just have one last job and hopefully this will all be over.
Things are looking up. A military ship just docked in, the USM Valor. I don't know what it was doing out there. It must have gotten our distress signal.
Wow, that was quick. A military ship has just entered the area, though we can't communicate with it. Not yet, at least. We need to head to the communications deck and repair the relay if we want any chance of being saved. And it's on our way there, we run into this thing. This is the divider. Easily the creepiest abomination in this game. Its long and slender limbs all have minds of their own. If you attempt to kill it the only way you know how, it collapses onto the floor and divides. If you let the head get too close, it will result in the most nightmare-inducing death. The Divider is a rare necromorph in this game, and you won't see much of them at all. I think there are only 5 in total, and there's a good reason for that. Taking a closer look at it, you can see it's wearing a high-ranking uniform, similar to the ones you see captains wear or other people with importance. There could be some symbolism here, but I think it's just creepy as fuck. As we're approaching the communications deck, we discover the Ishimura's secret. From an audio log we can find, we learn this entire mining operation was illegal.
Request to issue a distress call have been repeatedly denied by Captain Matthias. He won't say it, but everyone on the bridge knows why. This is an illegal operation in a prohibited system. We've all known for months, and we kept our mouths shut.
Aegis 7 is in the middle of a prohibited system, which explains why there's no one else out here but us. Captain Matthias essentially cut everyone off from help because he didn't want to be discovered, assuming it has something to do with the marker, since he was a member of Unitology and he wanted to bring it to the church. From the video log we found back in medical, Dr. Kynes seemed to be against this plan, which may explain why he killed him. We will come back to this. Right now, we need to focus on repairing the relay. We're not sure what caused the damage, but I think it's safe to assume it was sabotage. Majority of the relays are destroyed, but we only need 6 in total. It's a rather straightforward puzzle, and the atmosphere in this room is amazing. Once it's repaired, all we have to do now is send our coordinates to the Valor. I just love how the atmosphere changes here. Once it's fixed, it switches to something more soothing. It gives off this sense of hope, and it's about time, because this game's atmosphere is brutal and hopeless. Though as peaceful as it is, anything can go wrong, so let's contact the Valor before that happens. Is that fucking Iron Man?
This is USM Valor, widecasting on all frequencies to USG Ishimura in response to your SOS. We've picked up your escape pod, number 47, and are en route to your position. This message will repeat every 30 seconds until you respond.
What? Isn't that the escape pod Hammond jettisoned?
Oh shit, I forgot to mention something. When we first regrouped with Hammond, he trapped a necromorph inside an escape pod, and thought it was a good idea to inject it into space. Now, the USM Valor has just picked it up. That ugly thing is still in there.
No! No, this isn't going to happen. USM Valor! Come in, Valor! Our signal isn't strong enough. I'm going to open the blast doors to boost the signal.
Error. Blast door blockage detected. Please contact a repair technician.
Shit! Isaac! There's something big on the hull of the ship, directly above the comms array. Something organic. I don't know what it is, and I don't care. We have to get the doors open to transmit to the Valor. You should have a clear shot from ADS Cannon 48. Get to the cannon and blow it out into space.
Oh, not this again. Something big is blocking the blast door and Kendra wants us to use the cannon to deal with it. Insert a turret section for a boss. This is remnants of the Leviathan. The stubborn thing didn't die and moved itself onto the exterior of the ship. Honestly, it's a pretty underwhelming fight and it's nowhere near as cool as the first round. You essentially just hold mouse 1 for the entire fight and that's it.
Opening communications array blast doors.
USM Valor, this is Kendra Daniels on the...
With the comms finally boosted, Kendra makes an attempt to warn the Valor, but it's already too late.
Damn it! Respond!
That one single necromorph was enough to spread the infection onto the ship, and now it's about to collide with the Ishimura.
I wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here.
But not all hope is gone yet.
Isaac, are you there? Thank God you're alright. I've been trying to reach you. Someone's been blocking my rig signal remotely. A crash must have interrupted the signal block.
Hammond, where have you been?
Surviving. Barely. I found some med supplies and patched myself up. Listen. I'm calling aboard on the mission. Fuck the CEC and fuck the chain of command. We have to get the hell out of here. I think I've located a shuttle on the crew deck. Flight log says it needs a new singularity core, but we can probably salvage one from the Valor. I can see the tail end of it sticking out from the side of the Ishimura. I'm headed down there now to find a way inside. I'll meet you there. Hammond out.
Isaac, if what he says is true about the shuttle, we might have a chance of getting out of here. Head to the cargo bay and see if you can help Hammond. In his condition, he may not last long.
While Hammond was MIA, he found an escape shuttle. All we need to do is find a singularity core on the Valor and bring it back. One thing I do find interesting about this call, however, is the fact Hammond's signal was being blocked by someone this entire time. Whoever it is clearly wants him gone. He's going to meet us on the Valor to help out, and this man is one quick trooper. He gets there before we do and discovers why this military ship is out here with us.
Listen, I just found the munitions log for the Valor. I don't think their presence here is a coincidence. They're not on reconnaissance and they're not on patrol. This ship is prepped for war. They're on a seek and destroy mission. Do you hear me?
He's suddenly cut off and not able to finish. Kendra doesn't even seem to comment on it and just tells us to get on there and find the core. At least we have some slight idea what we're getting into. Hammond said this is a warship and most likely came here to cover up this mess, but how did they know the Ishimura was even out here? As we approach the Valor, we can already see the damage it's caused, even leaking nuclear material into the Ishimura. Before we're even able to get inside, we need to clean up these cancer balls, and once inside, it's incredibly haunting. There isn't a single survivor in sight, and the ship is covered in blood. It really shows you how devastating a necromorph outbreak can be.
It's a mess here. These poor bastards didn't stand a chance.
The Valor is nowhere near the size of the Ishimura, but it's still terrifying to see. All we need from this tomb is their singularity core, which can be found on the other side of the ship. It won't be easy though. The ship is small, but there are plenty of people on board, including the final necromorph variant. This is the Twitcher, an incredibly unique necromorph with a dangerous trick. All soldiers on board the USM Valor had stasis modules built into their suits, and when they were converted, the modules fused with their flesh and reversed the effects of stasis, giving them insane movement and reflexes. Their speed is what makes them dangerous, obviously, but they are basically no different to a slasher necromorph, other than the fact they're just quicker. They're going to be everywhere on this ship, and some have most likely crossed over to the Ishimura.
Isaac, are you able to call again?
How is she able to communicate with us on this ship? Huh, weird. Probably means nothing.
Mr. Clark, I need to speak with you.
This is Dr. Kine, still alive somehow and has been hiding in the crew deck this whole time. The reason he's still alive is because he's on his own mission and he needs our help.
If you really can repair the shuttle, there is a better use for it than just running away. You must understand, the forces at work here are greater than you can imagine. If you leave now, you condemn all humanity. The planet will never stop, never rest unless the marker is returned. Don't you see? The church is wrong. This is all a trap. I've seen it. Please, you must help me.
As crazy as he might seem, he might be right. Whether or not he's still a unitologist is kind of irrelevant, as it seems he has now realised the marker isn't the key to a better humanity. So he wants us to use the shuttle to return the marker instead of running, otherwise we condemn everyone. We don't get any more information than that, but he makes his mission clear. We just need to bring the core to the shuttle and trust this isn't a trap. Or you can spend the next hour playing this fun shooting game on the Valor. Well, it's not actually fun but kinda boring, but you do get some nice rewards for getting a high score. This feels like a nod to the shooting range from Resident Evil, but a very watered down version of it. Is it worth your time? Hell no, this shit sucks. A child could probably get a high score on this. As we get closer to the core, we stumble onto this mission log, and it confirms this was in fact a search and destroy mission. They were aware the Ishimura was in orbit with Aegis 7 and believed they recovered the marker. However, the most telling thing about this log is the fact the government was fully aware the marker was there and already knew the dangers of it. The Ishimura wasn't here to mine resources, they were searching for the marker. This does explain why there were unitologists on board and why they were keeping it a secret for the majority of the crew. This outbreak wasn't an unlucky event, they were asking for it. By fucking around with an alien marker, well, they found out. Eventually, we find the Valor's core, but getting to it is going to be a bit tricky. It's right in between the ship's thrusters and they're severely damaged from the crash, turning this room into a death trap. We have to use these containers as cover and painfully move towards the core to retrieve it. With that, we can now leave this putrid place.
Is that it? You got it? Oh my god! You got it! That's the piece we need. Get to the crew deck.
As we're leaving the Valor, we suddenly find Hammond, and where the fuck has he been? Yet again, my boy Isaac has to do everything solo.
Over here! I've been trying to reach you, my comm was out. You got the singularity code, that's our ticket out of here. Get that code yourself! Don't wait for me! Oh, fuck me! Ah!
Hammond's death is one of the most painful things to watch, literally. It's so incredibly graphic and has been living in my head rent-free the first time I witnessed it. It's quite literally on the same level as Holiday's death from Fear. Both are slow and absolutely terrifying to watch. We now have to avenge him. This isn't just an ordinary brute, it's actually a different variant of it, known as an enhanced necromorph. It's basically a tougher variant, which kinda makes this feel like a boss fight, but honestly, stasis makes this light work.
Lockdown lifted.
Just lost all of Hammond's vitals. Is he dead? Oh god. That just past now, Isaac.
No shit, Kendra. With nuclear weapons on board and the ship entering catastrophic failure, it's about time we leave. It's pure chaos as you make a run for the exit and really makes you feel the weight of the situation, but it kind of just awkwardly ends when we enter the next chapter. No epic explosion or any serious threat to the Ishimura. I guess Glenn ran out of budget. As we arrive at the crew deck, Kendra brings some good news and some bad news. She was able to find the shuttle Hammond was talking about, but the navigational controls are missing, which means we must now search the entire deck to gather parts, put it back together and bring it to the shuttle along with the core. But before we can do any of that, we need a crew key. I know it sounds like a tedious chapter, but it's actually one of my favourites, simply because of the lore we can find within it. Scattered around the entire lobby are bodies with wounds on their foreheads. Since the bodies are laid out in a somewhat organised manner, and along with the markers language written everywhere, I think it's safe to say they weren't killed by an infector. Even if that was the case, they would already be necromorphs. This looks more like a ritual took place. We will come back to this, but right now, I think it's about time we learn the origins of unitology and how this mission even occurred. From an article we can find just up the stairs, we learn the history of unitology. 2 centuries ago, a man named Michael Altman was a whistleblower who revealed a government cover-up. They recovered the Black Marker, the first to ever be found, and it was the one thing that proved there was alien life within the universe, but decided to keep it a secret from everyone. Altman was claiming the marker contained a code to eternal life, through rebirth and ascension. The government obviously claimed he was just crazy, but his voice kept getting louder to the point they couldn't ignore him anymore. So one day, he mysteriously died. It's not suggested within the article whether or not he was killed, but this only fueled the interest around the marker even more. Altman became a martyr and kicked off the formation of unitology, and over the years, they gained significant power and influence over financial institutions, funding their churches, research, and this illegal expedition. From an audio log we can find in the captain's room, we learn the colonists on Aegis 7 were the first to discover the marker, and unitologists caught wind of it. Using their influence, they managed to get Captain Matthias in command of the Ishimura and instructed him to return the marker to the church. I'm going to let this recording play out for you because it speaks for itself.
Captain's log, personal. I want to set the record straight. By the time this log is heard, my actions will have been vindicated. I'm a unitologist. By now, it's probably no secret that we shouldn't be in this star system. Just another illegal mining job for the company. That is until the colony found the marker. That was when the church took an interest and chose me to lead this pilgrimage. They also ensured many of the mission crew were devout. My primary instruction was to get the marker up from the colony and on board the ship. Dr. Kine, the CSO, is an expert on the original marker and was tasked with deciphering this new one. He says he's making good progress. My decision to quarantine the colony is sound. They've got some kind of epidemic down there and I can't allow it to infect the ship. Not with such precious cargo. Not when we are so close. Planet Crack takes place tomorrow. We'll continue to decipher the marker, and when we return home, we'll pass all our findings and the marker to the church. The government isn't going to cover this one up. Altman be praised.
Once the marker was on board the Ishimura, the mining operations commenced, and it was just another job for the CEC. This was the lie he would tell the majority of the crew. Those who were devoted to the religion began working on the marker, one of them being Dr. Kine. He was tasked with deciphering the marker's symbols to see if it contained a message. It wasn't long after that, everything went to hell. So, how does this transformation actually work? Well, Mercer demonstrates this in the next room.
What do you cling to when all must seem so utterly hopeless around you? Dr. Cross was a true believer. She had faith. And now she awaits her transformation, her rebirth. Are you ready to ascend, Mr. Temple? Of course you are. Have no fear. You will play your part soon enough. Witness the conviction of a true believer! They're ready. Take them. Embrace them.
As we already know, transformation can only happen after death. So, is it a virus of some kind? Well, not quite. The marker actually produces a signal that turns necrotic flesh into a necromorph. The corruption you see throughout the ship was formed by dust containing dead skin cells, which is absolutely disgusting. And from what we've learned, this signal was also turning people insane, causing various types of mental illness, which ultimately led to people taking the lives of others or their own. Now, in my opinion, I don't believe every unitologist on board knew about this signal or what the marker was even capable of. Otherwise, they wouldn't have treated this as an epidemic. Captain Matthias had no clue what was really happening to the colonists and just placed them under quarantine. Dr. Kyne is clearly freaked out by all of this, which caused him to backpedal on everything he knew about the markers, and Mercer is just suffering from the effects of the marker. He believes the necromorphs is the convergence, and he might be right, but based on this broadcast we can find in the crew deck, it seems like he had to talk other followers into accepting this is what it was.
God's plan is unfolding and we are its inheritors. We will ascend as we always knew we would. Unitology is truth, and your death is the first phase. Be deterred by the physical methods of transformation. Soon, you will be beyond any physical concerns. You must have faith, fools. This is what we have been searching for all these years. This is what we have been waiting for. Don't listen to them. Come back! Come back!
The bodies we can find in the lobby was a mass sacrifice committed by Mercer because they all believed this was part of the plan. I will come back to this towards the end, but right now, let's just grab the crew key and find those navigational cards. It can be found just beyond where Mercer was and right past these two lanky dickheads. Once we have that, Dr. Kyne will contact us once again.
Mr. Clark, I really must speak with you. I'm very close to your position and I know you want to hear what I have to say. I can explain all this. So what happened? When you have the nav cards, I'll let you into the security station. We must talk. Hurry.
Clearly, he doesn't think he's won us over yet, so he thinks it would be better to meet in person. This doesn't happen until much later into the chapter though. Right now, all we need to worry about are those nav cards, and I will be honest, this is basically a fetching chapter, but some interesting things do happen along the way. For example, Zero-G basketball. Just like the shooting range, you can also win some nice prizes here if you get a high enough score. And of course, it's just as boring as the shooting range. But hey, they got games on the Ishimura. That's a very good reason to work here. Oh yeah, and the first nav card can be found here. As we move towards the second nav card, how the hell is the Leviathan still alive? Like, what the fuck? I will be real, I have no idea if this is the same thing. Since the corruption around the ship got so severe, it's not impossible a new one is beginning to form, but I promise, this is the last time we see this thing. After overriding the lockdown, we can enter a damaged part of the crew deck and attempt to look for the next nav card, and I shit you not, I ran around this place for like 10 minutes, not realising the nav card was on the floor somewhere. In my defence, the necromorphs and limited oxygen supply was making it kinda stressful. I had to keep leaving this place just to replenish my oxygen, as I didn't have any air cans. The one time I desperately needed one, it didn't drop. GG.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
Anyway, the nav card is right here, and I couldn't fucking see it. In fact, I actually had no idea I picked it up once I looked back at the mission log. Wait, what? I'm confused whether or not I completed an objective in the area. Job done, on to the next one. The final nav card can be found in this extremely gruesome room. Surrounding this woman are her victims. She turned insane and slaughtered those who were taking shelter here, and began to draw symbols with their blood. It's incredibly disturbing. Okay, can't show that. Graphic violence? Fine. But this? Not okay, according to YouTube. After picking up the final nav card, Mercer releases the hunter. This time around, he's a lot more challenging. We get locked in a room with it, along with other various types of necromorphs. A short but tense segment ends with Dr. Kyne praising us.
Excellent work, Mr. Clark. Excellent work. Now, come and meet me in the executive area. The door is unlocked. Be quick.
Isaac, be careful with Dr. Kyne. A lot of what I've discovered so far has come from his records. The man has clearly gone insane. He might be unstable, maybe even violent.
As unhinged as he might be, we might as well hear him out. We find him in the executive lounge, talking to someone that isn't there.
You've made it! Oh, thank God you made it. I've been following your progress. I know you want to repair the executive shuttle and leave this place, but escape is impossible at this point. The shuttle shock point drive is destroyed. No. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope.
He wants to bring the marker back to Aegis 7 because it belongs to something they call the Hive Minds.
But Amelia, she changed things. The church, they think the marker is divine, but they don't know what's happened here, what's been released. Look. Look at this. That is what we found in the core of the planet. Mercer calls it the hive mind.
Whatever the hell this thing is unknown at this point, but Dr. Kyne believes it's controlling the necromorphs, and if we return the marker to it, it will stop the outbreak. With that, we move towards the shuttle to repair it, so that we can begin Dr. Kyne's plan. However, the hunter still isn't quite done with us. As we already know, we cannot kill this thing by ordinary means, but this little switch in the corner is a hint. This is the final showdown we have with the hunter, and honestly, I wished we saw more of it. It would have been so cool if it acted like a Mr. X type of character, and I do wonder if that was Glen's original idea for the monster. I mean, it's named the hunter after all. But with how the game is structured, I wouldn't be surprised if it was scrapped, because it would have been more annoying than anything. Anyway, if we want to kill this thing, we need to burn it. We simply need to keep it in place behind the thrusters and turn them on. This part can be tricky because there's a bunch of twitchers in the middle of the fight, but you don't really need to get them out of the way. As long as the hunter is in place, you can end this within a minute. Oh, by the way, Dr. Kyne has a bit of dialogue here, but sadly, you can't hear shit because of this geezer running in circles.
The shuttle needs to be released before launch. Control platform there.
So, to summarise it, he's taken the shuttle to the loading bay so that we can move the marker. But one interesting thing he says here is this. This will make us whole again.
Isaac, make us whole again. Isaac, make us whole again. Isaac, make us whole again.
The same thing Nicole has been saying to us throughout the game. It really makes you think she's one of them, and perhaps this might actually be a trap.
I love you. This will all be over soon.
Right now, we have no other option but to help Dr. Kyne. It's not like running is an option anymore. On our way back to the tram, we have one final call with Mercer.
Your time has come. No need to be frightened. No reason to fight. Many have gone before us, and now it's time for us to take the voyage together. Transcend death. Future take its course. Join me as I gaze upon the face of God.
Okay, two things I find funny about this. Was the infector just casually waiting for him to finish? And why the fuck didn't he turn? Upon further research, him not turning is just a bug. Alright, moving on. We do as Dr. Kine says and head down into the cargo bay. And it's here the marker is revealed to us. A towering DNA-looking monolith with alien scriptures carved on every surface. And as we get closer to it, we begin to hear voices, but not the kind we've heard before. It sounds almost like a prayer, but in a different language. I'm not entirely sure how accurate this is, but apparently it's Latin, and they're actually saying, "We are here in death. It is our saint." As we begin to move the marker, a large wave of necromorphs attempt to kill us. This segment is pure chaos, but not anything noteworthy. It's kinda like an escort mission, one that overstays its welcome a bit. Oh yeah, and the large tentacle is back. I know I said this was going to be the last time we see it, but I lied. After a struggle down in the cargo bay, we eventually bring the marker to the shuttle.
It's on board. Please come and join me. Together we can stop this hive mind. We can end this nightmare, at last.
As we're almost home free, a thought begins to form in the back of your mind. There hasn't been a major setback in a while. I wonder if it's... Oh shit.
Wait, Amelia, where are you going?
Sorry, Isaac. I couldn't let him go through with it. I suppose I should thank you for finding the marker. We even managed without help from the USM Valor. Thank you for helping me find him, by the way. My department's been looking for this place for a long time. See what Kine didn't know was? It was the government's mess to begin with. This whole planet is one big experiment. The marker? This divine relic? Made by man. They reverse engineered it a couple of 100 years ago from the real marker, a true alien artifact recovered on Earth. They dug it up, studied it, and they made it their own. Then they brought it to Aegis 7 and activated it. And you've seen the result. The stuff of nightmares. They sealed the system, and no one would have been the wiser. But then the CEC blunders in and starts tearing the planet apart. The experiment was still alive. Kine was right about the hive mind. The marker would contain it, but that doesn't matter now, does it? I have the marker, and this entire system can go to hell. For what it's worth, you did a great job, Isaac. See you around. Or maybe not.
This sneaky bitch played us all like a damn fiddle. She's an undercover Earth government agent who was sent here to retrieve the marker. She was the one who blocked Hammond's connection because she was trying to take control of the situation. By not having him around, she can use Isaac to do all the dirty work for her. And now that she finally has what she wanted, she just leaves us for dead. But that's not all. This marker isn't even original. It's a man-made version that was reverse engineered from the black marker. Aegis 7 was a testing ground for it over 100 years ago, to see whether or not they could produce a ton of energy from it, but instead, it turned the sovereign colonies into necromorphs, then eventually the hive minds. Since then, this whole system was restricted. All hope isn't lost, however.
Isaac, Nicole, I need you to help me. Help us, now!
She's still alive somehow and urgently needs our help. We meet her in the flight control room, and let's just say, something isn't right. As we enter the room, the monitors begin to glitch out around us and even talk.
Isaac? Is that really you? I never thought we'd be together again. God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did. I never wanted to hurt you. You need to get it back now, Isaac. You can pilot the shuttle remotely from here. Make us whole again. Make us whole again.
Turns out we can recall the shuttle back to the Ishimura, dragging Kendra's snake ass back along with the marker.
Isaac, what the hell are you doing? You're making a big mistake. This is not over.
But decides to use an escape shuttle instead.
Escape pod away, crew shuttle USG-09. Repeat, shuttle has ejected escape pod.
It doesn't matter. She can't escape her fate. None of us can.
Now, we just have to take the shuttle for ourselves and head down to Aegis 7 with the marker, hoping to bring an end to it all.
You're doing the right thing, Isaac. We're together now. The way it always should have been. I knew you'd come back for me. Nothing can stop us now.
Arriving on this hellish planet, we are met with a pretty mundane objective. Escort the marker, again. That's pretty much what you will be doing throughout most of this finale, which is kinda lame, but it does pay off in the end. Sort of. After Nicole gives us very precise orders, she mysteriously fucks off. As I said before, we have to drag the marker all the way to the pedestal on the other side of this building. Between that is a shit ton of necromorphs. Waves of them will come out to attack you as you move the marker from room to room, and you basically rinse and repeat that until the end. To be honest, I really have no idea what to add since it's just action. There isn't anything new to learn down here, but to be fair, the Ishimura told us everything about this planet. So I don't blame Glen for making this section action-packed rather than horror-focused. Eventually, we reach the pedestal. The purpose of this is to boost the marker's signal, which sounds kind of, wait, why are we doing this again?
Thank you, Isaac. I always believed in you. I knew you'd return to me. We are whole again, Isaac. We are whole.
So, you're probably starting to catch on what's going on right now. Or maybe you saw this coming about an hour ago. But if you don't know yet, Kendra will show us.
Isaac, you really didn't think I was just gonna walk away, did you? I can't do that. The marker's coming with me. It's a shame. I'm starting to like you. Even if you are insane. What, you don't believe me? Take a look at yourself. Better yet, take a look at the video from Nicole. And this time, watch it right to the end.
Isaac, it's me. I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything. I wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening. It's strange. Such a little thing. And it all comes down to one little thing. I didn't want it to end like this. I really wanted to see you again. Just once. I loved you. I always loved you.
Nicole has been dead this entire time. The strange things we have been seeing was the marker controlling us. And I mean, the signs were all there. The game has been telling you this was the case since the moment we stepped foot on the Ishimura.
Social interaction, physical contact, affectional support may lead you to make poor judgments and decisions in multiple areas.
With Nicole's strange appearances, information telling us people were turning insane, the fact Dr. Kyne and Kendra were seeing dead loved ones, and the biggest one of them all is that the game has been slowly spelling this out for us. No, I'm not kidding. If you take the first letter of every single chapter, it spells out Nicole is dead. This is why I love the twist of Dead Space. It was always in our face. It makes the reveal just that more effective, and I personally hate it when a twist is so sudden and out of nowhere, but Dead Space does it in a way where you can sense something was wrong but you couldn't quite put your finger on it. However, Nicole being dead isn't the end of it. Just like with Dr. Kyne, he was also being controlled by the marker. He was seeing his dead wife, who was doing the exact same thing as to what Nicole's ghost was doing, telling us to make them whole. What this really meant was returning the marker. As for Mercer, he was most likely insane prior to the events of this game, which is why he embraced it.
See? You're insane. Just like Kyne, just like the captain. Nicole has been dead this whole time. Whatever you were seeing was caused by that. You are its pawn. But don't worry. It will be in good hands now. Far away from this damn place. Goodbye, Isaac.
With the marker gone once again, Kendra makes a break for the shuttle while we do the same. We meet her right outside of it with a very pissed off hive mind.
Oh my god!
Reducing Kendra to nothing but atoms. And holy shit, that video feed did not do this thing justice. It's ginormous. If Isaac is going to die on this planet, he's sure as hell not going down without a fight. Just like with the last boss fights, this one is also pretty straightforward, but the real biggest difference is that the hive mind puts up a fight, using its tentacles to slam down onto the arena and even commands a few necromorphs like little minions. This boss plays out in phases. We have to destroy its weak points around its mouth to hurt it, but by doing that, it will pick us up straight off the ground and will gradually pull you closer to its mouth if you fail to hurt it in time, leading to a pretty gruesome death. If you're able to withstand the pressure this thing puts you in, it will immediately drop you into the next phase. This time getting a lot more aggressive. What? I've never seen that happen before. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? If we want to kill this thing for good, we must destroy the weak points in its chest. And wow, that was kinda easy. Look, I said it puts up more of a fight, not that it was harder. Now that it's all over, there's only one thing left to do. Leave. Because that massive rock the Ishimura is holding onto is falling down. One slight issue. Isaac isn't going home anytime soon. Dr. Kyne made us aware the shuttle is missing a shock point drive, meaning there's nothing but endless space towards home. Isaac is obviously aware of that, but at least he finally has some peace. As the game comes to a close, he watches Nicole's message one last time before really accepting she's gone.
I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry.
But it appears the marker has done unrepairable damage to Isaac. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dead Space. In my opinion, one of, if not the greatest sci-fi horror ever made. Using classic horrors such as Silent Hill and Resident Evil, they were able to craft a horror experience that still lives rent-free in every gamer who touched it. It's a brutal, unrelenting experience that holds its own in the genre. Till this day, there hasn't been a game quite like it. I had such a blast covering this game, and I do apologise for taking so long. I wanted to do the game justice, and hopefully I have. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and sub on your way out. If this video does well, which I hope it really does, I will be covering the sequel, arguably the best Dead Space ever made, and it's actually the one I wanted to cover the most, but I thought it was important to cover the game that started it all. If I sound weird right now, it's because my speech disorder is holding me back. Okay, let's just end the video. Till then, have a nice day.